There are some people whose lives seem filled with success, beauty, and fame. Stefanie Powers was one of them. She was a television star, loved by millions. Many knew her as Jennifer Hart from the famous show Hart. She smiled on screen, made people laugh, and looked like she had everything. But what most people did not see was the pain behind that smile. This is the story of Stefanie Powers. And at 82, her story is not just about stardom. It is about heartbreak, loss, and strength hidden behind silence. Stefanie Powers was born in Hollywood in the year 1942. It sounds like the perfect place to grow up if you want to be a star. But her childhood was not perfect. Her parents separated when she was young. Her mother raised her and her brother on her own. Money was tight. Life was not easy. Stefanie worked hard. She loved dancing and acting. By the time she was a teenager, she was already working in movies. People noticed her talent and beauty. She was strong, focused, and determined to succeed. Her big break came when she got roles in films and television shows in the 1960s. And then came Hart in 1979. This show made her a household name. But behind her rising fame, her personal life had its own ups and downs. Stefanie was married once, to actor Gary Lockwood, but it did not last. They divorced after just a few years. Then, she met someone who truly changed her life, actor William Holden. William Holden was much older than her, but they shared a deep connection. They were never married, but they were in love for nearly a decade. Tragically, in the year 1981, William Holden died suddenly. He was found alone in his home. Stefanie was heartbroken. She had lost the love of her life. She later said that she did not even get to say goodbye. Losing William Holden was more than just losing a partner. It changed her. For years, she carried that pain silently. She worked less. She stayed away from the spotlight. But Stefanie did not let grief stop her completely. She wanted to do something good in his memory. William Holden had loved animals and nature. So Stefanie took over the William Holden Wildlife Foundation in Kenya. She spent time in Africa, helping animals and children learn about wildlife. She found some peace there. But the sadness in her heart never fully left. As if losing William Holden was not enough, Stefanie faced another challenge years later. In the year 2008, she was told she had lung cancer. She had never smoked much, but still, the illness came. She had to go through surgery. A part of her lung was removed. It was scary, painful, and exhausting. But she fought. Just like she had fought her way into acting, just like she had survived heartbreak, she faced cancer head-on. And she survived. Fame is not always what it seems. Stefanie was loved by many, but fame can be very lonely. As the years passed, she appeared in fewer shows and movies. Younger stars came in. Hollywood moved on. She once said in an interview that the older you get in this industry, the more invisible you become. Friends passed away. Her career slowed down. And Stefanie? She kept going. Quietly. Alone. Now at 82, Stefanie Powers lives a much quieter life. She spends time in nature. She visits the Wildlife Foundation. She speaks at events now and then. She is not often seen in public. There are no bright lights or big cameras anymore. Sometimes, people forget the stars who once shone so brightly. But Stefanie Powers still carries her story. A story full of love, loss, strength, and silence. Stefanie Powers once made the world smile. But behind her own smile was a heart that carried so much pain. At 82, her story reminds us that even the brightest stars can have the darkest nights. She may not be on our screens now, but her journey still matters. It tells us something very important, that behind every face you see on television or in the movies is a real person. A person with dreams, pain, hope, and heartbreak. Let us remember Stefanie, not just for the role she played, but for the life she lived. A life full of strength, love, and quiet bravery. In memory of the life and journey of Stefanie Powers. May her story remind us to be kind, to listen, and to never judge a book by its cover. If this story touched your heart, please consider subscribing. We share more real stories of stars whose lives were not as perfect as they seemed. Thank you for watching.